Yeah, I think at first it looks like he's over there, but then it's a reflection.
Right.
Anyway.
First off, thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
No doubt.
So I'm here with Williams, aka BullyJuice. There's going to be some really good items here. So the first thing I have here is, at what point doing YouTube did you think, oh wait, I can make this like a real thing, or potentially like something that you can build up for the future, that you can create a platform off of? And it's not just posting this, it's not just posting that. When did it actually become, this is more than just posting?
Okay. So I would say originally, I tell people, believe it or not, I started YouTube because my wife told me to start YouTube. So she actually started up like a makeup and beauty type channel, and she was like, hey, when I got back from basic training, she's like, you should post videos on YouTube. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't have time to do that. And she's like, no, you should share your story, blah, 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 blah. So at some point in time, I listened, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, maybe I should. And I started to do it. I started with like my 0-week experience, and I started doing each week how it was to me to help people. And I started to receive, you know, positive type messages like, hey man, this video really helped calm me down. And I did it from a perspective, a lot of people, they talk about everything that sucks. What I always talked about the sucks, but I had a positive spin on it. Okay. Why it was not as bad as you thought it was.
My next question is, what fuels you to keep making videos? Like why keep putting out content? Like what changed from that starting, like, okay, I'll share my story, to like, oh, now I keep making videos because
of this. Okay, what I was leading into was, it became a passion. It grew from a hobby to a passion. So it's something that it used to be, like in the beginning, you look like you're looking at a camera, right? Like I'm talking to a camera. Right. Now I actually see these subscribers. I see the people that's always commenting. I see the people that send me these testimonies to my emails and stuff like that. Like, hey, I helped this, that, and the third. You're like a role model, a big brother to me, whatever the case may be. It no longer feels like I'm talking to a camera. It feels like I'm talking to people that's actually listening. And once you really feel like you're making a difference, it's hard to stop making a difference.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. When you start, I guess, maybe it's just like fitness, because my next one's gonna be like fitness. When you start seeing results, it becomes, the work becomes easier. Right. Fair enough. Okay. So the next one is, was fitness always your thing? So me being a subscriber of Williams, I came in at about, look, don't be mad, I came in at about 70,000. That's when
That's
because
good.
When I was in, I wasn't looking for like the how-to Air Force, you know. Right. But then I was looking for something for the operational Air Force, and then I saw, we actually talked about this off camera, as I saw like a background, and I was like, that looks interesting. And then I was like, I'm pretty sure I go there a couple times. I was like, where's this guy from? I get out of here. He's at my base. And I was like, we're doing the same thing, but we've never met.
Yeah, I think I met you at the gym the first time.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the rack right next to me. People look at you now, they may think, oh, it's easy for him to do that. It's easy for him to be on a schedule because you know, he's already like that. But was fitness, for how you're known now, always your thing?
I would say yes, in a sense, because I grew up playing sports. I grew up running track all throughout middle school, high school, and also I went to college to run track. So it was kind of like I used to lift weights for sports specific type things. So I was trying to be more powerful so that I can get down the track. And then at some point in time, when I left the military, when I left college, it still was a passion of mine because it changed my life. Right. You know, sports was one of those things that kept me out of trouble, and it changed my life in many different situations. I've done several videos talking about that. It was one of those things where I always, it's like my stress reliever. I could be in there all day, every day, and it calms me down. It's one of those things I use to de-stress and also to motivate others.
So that kind of answers the next one. The next one I have, did you always lift, and how has that changed for you? So like, were you trying to be lean, or like when did you start lifting?
Running track? So usually it's a balance depending on what you're doing. So for me, running track, I was a 1-2 guy. I was explosive, so literally my races lasted for 10-20 seconds. You know, how tired can you get? I was like, I'm supposed to go balls to the wall for 10 seconds. That's what I worked out for. So literally we used to always have this joke, like we train hours a day for months to run 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying?
But those 10 seconds,
to run 10 seconds, you know. So most of our lifts was sports specific. So we were trying to get powerful, explosive, elastic energy. Those were the things we was working on. I never did bodybuilding type things or anything like the calisthenic type stuff I do now. It was more so to get down the track.
Now it seems like you're more, and obviously I'm not going to place you in there if you're not there, but are you more bodybuilder centric? Like it seems like you're lifting more than like, you know, you're not doing like the training for the 10-second sprints. So like, are you lifting more now? Is that like where the focus is? I guess that's like, how has it changed you for like lifting?
Lifting used to be secondary.
Okay.
Now it's primary. So I used to lift because I ran track. Now I lift because I want to lift weights.
Okay.
So the difference is now I'm not a sprinter anymore. So my lifting isn't catered to run fast. It's more so catered to be strong, to be powerful, really overall. And now I'm doing more of the calisthenic type things. And I always tell people, even now, like somebody told me the other day, you're too big to be doing calisthenics. And I said, I've always
watch this.
Yeah, I've always lifted to be functional. I'm still explosive. I can still do all the things I want to do.
Right.
And there's no reason for me to be super big and then can't scratch my back.
Exactly. Okay. So someone new to the Air Force and worried about the PT test, maybe not just in BMT, but maybe even in tech school or the operational Air Force, what do you think they should start doing now and like how far out in preparation? Because obviously like if you lift a ton, maybe, you know, if we're getting only tested on push-ups, sit-ups, and running and pull-ups if you're in that career field, what should they start doing now to prepare for the BMT physical training test if they're worried about it?
So if you're worried about it, I would definitely run. If you suck at doing push-ups, do more push-ups. It's one of those things where it's kind of simple. You know what you have to do. You know what you're not good at. Those are probably things you should focus on to help bring up those weaknesses in the area that you're not that confident in. So I usually tell people to do like 1x3s. Of those. So if you could do 60 push-ups 3 times a day, I want you to do 60 push-ups, but break them into 20. So do 20, take a break, do 20, take a break, do 20. That's 60. So do that 3 times a day, and eventually that's going to get easy.
Right, and I think it was Jocko Willink who said, someone asked him like, how do I get better, or how do I get more disciplined? He's like, well, be more disciplined.
Right.
How do I wake up early?
Wake up
early.
Right.
How do I do more push-ups? Do more push-ups. Right. This is one of the most popular questions I get is about how hard is PT, and I've had people ask me afterwards like, oh, wasn't that bad? And I'm like, yeah, literally, you're being tested on 3 items or 4 items. Again, if your career field elicits it, so do those 3 or 4 items.
Right. So I always tell people, don't just do normal push-ups to strengthen your push-ups. I tell people that. It's kind of like you go to the weight room, and I see where you come from. Don't just do bench to increase your bench. There's so many different components to when you're doing a bench press. Same with push-ups. You want to utilize your chest. You want to utilize your triceps as well. So why don't you work on those separate things? So do wide grip push-ups, do close grip, and do middle grip, because you're using all these different things. Your core, your chest. So wide is going to work chest, close is going to work triceps, in between is going to work both of those. If you equally strengthen all those muscles, it's going to help you out in the long run.
And then the next one here is, what is something that you find airmen do in fitness in general where they're missing the mark or they're missing the point? Like they have this thought about something and they're not totally grasping the idea. Like what is it where people, you hear in the nutrition or fitness world, and it's like, if you just knew this, it would be like, oh, that would change the game for fitness.
Well, there's several things. I would definitely say the first one is genetics. So yes, genetics plays a role, but it's not everything. You know, some people look at me and they think, well, he just has good genetics, but they have no idea how much I work.
Right.
They have no idea that I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning going to the weight room. I'm not just sitting on the couch and just eating food and just getting strong. It doesn't work that way. And definitely, I would say, don't wait to the last minute. That's one thing I feel like airmen do as a whole. They know, when your PT test is. If you're not getting a 90 or above, then you know you're going to have a PT test every 6 months. And make sure it's easier to stay in shape than it is to get back in shape.
I think Mark Wahlberg said something very similar to that. He's like, once you get to the point, it's maintenance from there. Not that you start pushing off. It's just, it's maintenance now. You don't have to drop 50, 60 pounds.
Right.
Okay.
It's easier to stay in shape than it is to get back in shape. So don't wait till a month before your PT test. Like, well, I better start running now. You should probably be consistent with those things, and it's going to make it easier in the long run.
Okay, perfect. Next one here is when BullyJuice cheats on a diet. What does it look like?
Man, so I definitely cheat almost every weekend, man. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I'm right there with you.
I meal prep during the week, and I'm usually good to go. I've been a little bit more strict. I always tell people I don't necessarily have a diet that I stick to. I just make healthy decisions.
Right.
I make healthy choices.
And I was watching, I don't know if it was your last video or the one before that, you were it was like the a lean diet or something like that.
Yeah.
And I know you put out a bunch of meals there because I'm trying to do something very similar to that. I thought that helped me a lot because when you Google search how to lose weight or like how can a man lose weight, I mean you get 400 million different
there's
searches.
a lot of stuff out there. But I mean, really, it's simple. It's not simple, but it's simple. The hard part is actually doing it. You want to increase the amount of calories you're burning, and you want to decrease the amount of calories you're intaking.
Right.
So you want to be in what you call the caloric deficit. So as long as you're burning more calories each day than you're intaking, you're going to lose weight.
Okay. So now when it comes to the weekend, and it's time for BullyJuice to cheat on that diet.
Right.
What's the cheat meal, the cheat food? Do you have a blowout day, or is it just no? Look, one meal.
It depends on how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
A lot of factors go into that. If I worked out that day,
okay.
So I definitely like to cheat on my days I work hard because I know I got a big gap of calories I could just throw on there. You know, if I just killed it at the gym, I know I can really stuff myself with whatever I want because I know it's my body's gonna eat that up because I'm hungry. But I'd say burgers. Burgers get me, man.
So see, I'm originally from the south suburbs of Chicago, and like Chick-fil-A like just got there.
Right.
When I came down to the south, it was my first time down here, and we started having Chick-fil-A. That was like every weekend. Obviously not Sundays, but like Saturday, I'm like, this is my meal. It's Chick-fil-A.
So I go to Chick-fil-A. And even if it's not necessarily a cheat day, but you maybe get some grilled chicken. Yeah. Or you might get a chicken wrap or salad. Okay. Know? So like I said, I'm not on a diet necessarily. I just make healthy choices.
So you can make better options even if
you're eating out.
Okay, perfect.
Eat a salad. Don't put a whole bunch of dressing on it.
Right. Get the Caesar salad, extra dressing on the side, maybe a couple like whatever extra you'd be throwing in there. Right. So you can still be conscious even if it's a cheat day.
And you could replace your fries with like fruit.
Do you think too much fruit is bad?
Too much of anything is bad for you.
Fair enough.
So when I eat a lot of fruit, but I also don't eat sugar because there's a lot of sugar in fruit.
Right.
So I don't eat candy and stuff like that. So that's why I get you need a balance of everything. You need some fats. There's healthy fats, there's bad fats. So you need fats, you need sugar, you need all these things. Okay. You just need certain portions in different sections. So more protein definitely going to be the better though.
So does protein, now this is diving deep in my ignorance pool of like nutrition. If you have more like, not that it'd be okay, but if it's like, you know what, I went a little crazy at dinner, maybe in the evening, if you had more protein or fiber, would that not necessarily offset it, but would that make your body digest the crap you had at lunch better?
No, theoretically, you should already have digested that food. They say 30 minutes after you eat, you should have to poop, technically. Right. Because you should have already digested that food by the time that comes. What's going to help with that would be drinking a lot of water. Okay. So if you drink water, water's going to help with digestion.
Okay. Now the next one here is, what do you say to those that are like, you know what, BullyJuice, I don't get it. I'm busy, tired. The gym is far. I don't feel like driving and getting ready. I don't have time like you do. Maybe something like that. What is a workout? You go, you know what? I got 30 minutes. What does an efficient workout look like?
30 minutes is plenty of time. Okay. It depends on what you're trying to achieve. So if you're trying to lose weight, I would definitely hit up some high intensity interval training. That's actually going to be maybe 20 minutes. Right. So you're going to do something hard for 4, off for 4, hard 4, off 4, back and forth for 20 minutes. If you're actually putting in the intensity you need to, That's plenty of time. 30 minutes is plenty of time. Now, if you're trying to bulk up or something and get stronger, you may need a little bit more time than that. So it's going to depend on what you're trying to do.
The point with this question is I wanted to have the naysayers not have an excuse, because I'm the kind of person, I tell myself all the time, and I find it very hard, is that little part in my brain is like, you don't have time, you just got off of work, you're tired, you should be studying for staff or something.
Everybody else has the same issues.
Right.
So I'm the same person. I have a job, I have a YouTube channel, I have a daughter, I have a wife, I have dogs that I breed and do all that stuff. So I have a lot of different things that I'm working on. I still want to get to the gym and still have a good workout. So if you got to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get that done, wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get that done.
Okay, so the last one I have here is, what are some good food options that are underrated? What are some items where it's like, you know what, if you just added blueberries, for example, to your diet, like what is that food that people are missing?
Blueberries is a good
blueberries,
one.
Yeah. Well, that's one of my favorites is blueberries. I'll just I
like to make some oatmeal and put some blueberries in it.
I do a honey, cinnamon, maybe some almonds.
It's so many different, options out there. I mean, one thing that the most underrated thing in my opinion is water. That has to be the most underrated thing, like consumption item, period. Because people don't understand that increasing your water will give you energy. It'll help you lose fat. It's going to help your digest. It's going to help those vitamins and all the other stuff you're consuming.
Okay.
Water is going to be the driving force. It's going to carry it from where it needs to go.
So what? So how much water are you intaking? Do you measure that? I know you said you don't really measure your.
I don't necessarily measure it, but I like to drink jugs because it helps me kind of gauge it. And I like to drink good days are at least half a jug. Probably should be drinking more, and it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm working out hard, then it may be an entire gallon. But most of the time, let's say I'm working out hard, I'm in the sun all day, it's probably be a gallon. When I was deployed, I probably would drink like a gallon and a half, maybe 2 gallons.
I carried something with me all the time. I was making sure that thing was not anything less than half.
It depends. I like to carry around jugs, and I like to drink at least a half a gallon a day.
I normally have a bunch of those from the 24 packs of water. I have one. I have 2 sitting in the kitchen, 2 by my desk, 2 by my nightstand, because I know how important it is. I haven't. I feel like there's still larger goals as far as my fitness goes that I'm trying to achieve, but I understand the importance of water. Those are all the questions I have for you.
That's awesome, man.
I greatly appreciate your time. While I watch your content, you always have. I think you actually did earlier today. Is that you always have these little bits of positive energy that I think are very important.
As far as just YouTube goes. Yes, because I was at that point in my life, and that was really one of the messages I always wanted to portray. Like I said, I always talked about the sucks, but I also had the positive spin on it, why you should look at it a different way. It's all about perspective. Is the glass half empty? Is it half full? Something simple as that. It's about that perspective.
So that's something I really appreciate, because it's very hard. We were talking about this off camera too. Is that it's kind of hard to really, because misery loves company, but no one ever talks about the positivity. Positivity loves company too, because there's good and bad days, So I used to work at a grocery store years ago before I enlisted, and I had a customer come through my line, and it stuck with me ever since, and I say it all the time to people, he said, every day is good, some days are just gooder than others. And it's obviously it's meant to be kind of tongue-in-cheek, funny. Every day is good, but some days are just gooder than others.
Because you woke up.
Because you woke up. Exactly. So I appreciate that. I'm sure the community appreciates that. And the last thing I want to do is just thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it. And any last messages for the people out there?
No, I just want to definitely say I appreciate you inviting me to the channel. Make sure you guys are always grinding hard. Like I tell my subscribers, just make sure you're better when you go to sleep. You're better than you were when you woke up that morning. Whether that's reading a book, going to the gym, whatever.
That's perfect. Thank you, man. I appreciate your time and attention.
It was awesome. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next video.